Hello crafty cuties, I hope you are all doing well. Today I have just a couple little tips and tricks to show you because as I was putting a journal together, I was getting my signature ready, which I have right here, and I was remembering a question that I get a lot, which is, how do I like to put single pages into my journals? So if you are familiar, most journals have what is called a signature, which is a grouping of folded pages. So again, the question is, how do you include single pages without folding? And then along with that question, I've had people ask how I add envelopes so that like the full envelope is a page. So I'm going to show you a few different ways. The first way is going to be with a sewing machine because this is my preferred way. This is how I like to do it. However, you'll see the next few demonstrations that I do will be without a sewing machine and super easy. So stick along if you don't have a sewing machine. And you can take the same idea and use glue instead of sewing. So I have my 2 pages here. I went ahead and I measured them to make sure that each page was the same width as my signature. So go ahead and make that decision first, see if you need to trim anything down. And what I'm going to do is I'm taking a piece of scrap fabric here. Now I did make sure that it kind of matched or that I liked it because it's going to show a little bit. And you want it to be this about the same height. It can be a little shorter, that's fine. And I'm actually gonna fold this because I'm gonna trim it down. And you probably want it to be maybe like an inch or so. And then what we're going to do is we are going to sew this so that we kind of create a signature in a sense. Now you can see that this is covering up a little bit of this page, so keep that in mind. Maybe if you were trimming your page down, trim it over here instead of over here, but that doesn't matter to me because I usually cover things up in my journal. So basically I'm going to go ahead and sew this onto my page, and you can see I'm sewing it on about 1/4 of an inch of the fabric is on the page. You really just need enough to sew it on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real fast here. So we will just sew it all the way down. I'm just going to do a straight stitch here. Okay, and then we are going to take our second page and we are going to sew the other side of the fabric on here. Now I'm realizing that this is going to make my pages be a little bit longer because I have a pretty big piece of fabric in the center here. So you can trim that down. I kind of just go with the flow, so you can see that I'm not really measuring here and I'm realizing I want a little bit less. But depending on what size your pages are, if you want them to stick out a little bit further, you can have more fabric in the middle or less to create shorter pages. So now I'm just gonna go ahead. You really only need to have a teeny amount of, the fabric in the center anyway. So sewing this piece right onto our page as well, and then we are done here. Now if you are someone who is concerned about the look on both sides, you can definitely have 2 pieces of fabric, but I'm totally fine with this look. And then you are done here, and now you can see that we can just add this into our signature like so, and it does add a little bit of a fabric look here, but your pages are your single pages now and we are good to go. So that is the first way. Now I'm going to show you the second way to do single pages. So again, I am going to need to trim these down, and so I left that to do with you so you can see what I'm actually talking about. So I'm going to eyeball it here. I can see that it's a little bit too wide. So I am just going to grab my scissors, just trim this down a bit. And again, I'm not too worried about losing some of the picture here. And we'll trim this side down. And I could have used a paper trimmer to make that a little bit nicer, but okay, so that's pretty good. I might have to trim extra once we're done, but basically now we are going to take our 2 single pages, and it's just the same idea. However, I'm going to use paper this time. And again, I'm going to make this a little bit skinnier so that I don't have too much hanging over onto my page. So I just have a piece of cardstock. It is pretty durable paper. It's, I forget what weight, but it's a cardstock. Now, that didn't really help you out, but you can use regular printer paper as well. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and fold it in half. This is going to be now the center of our signature right here. And I'm just going to take some glue. You can use double-sided tape if you prefer. Just use whatever adhesive you like. And so you can see that we are essentially just creating a page that ends up getting folded. So if you only have one page, one single page that you are wanting to adhere, basically I kind of do the same thing, but I would just attach my paper or fabric like so. So if I just wanted this page right here, I would basically do this right here, and then I would sew this part into my signature. So that does leave a little piece kind of hanging off, but I'll usually just use that to my advantage and maybe add a pocket or, you know, an envelope, or I usually just add something else. So that is one way that you can do it, but for this I am going to just go ahead and actually add our second page right here. And so you can see I always like to leave just a little bit of either the fabric or the paper in the center so that I'm not really missing out on much of that page. So there we have that. So that one is ready to go, and it really, it's going to be just as durable having it glued onto paper as it is fabric, in my opinion, or from what I've seen. So there we have that. And again, now you can see that there is a little piece of paper here. You can decorate that with washi, or you can use less paper. You can cut it a little bit shorter. It's just up to you. Now I'm going to try to quickly go over envelopes, which is going to be the same idea. However, I'll just show you one extra way that you can do this, and that is just by using washi tape. Now, please keep in mind that I don't do this a ton because I don't usually trust washi tape. So what I do, and what I mean by that is because a lot of washi tapes are not really that sticky. So I pick a washi tape that I know is extra sticky. This one is super sticky and like it really doesn't come up. And I'll add like glue as well. But a little trick that I like is to use some packaging tape, because this is really, really strong. And let me try to get a little piece here to show you what I mean. So basically I will use my packaging tape first, or you can use just whatever strong tape you have. So I'm gonna butt these up to one another, and again I'm leaving a little space in between. It's really just the same idea as the pages that we did, but I wanted to show you the washi tape idea. And then I'll go ahead and put this down so that it's more of for decoration. You could put another piece of clear tape over that if you want, or if your washi tape is not very strong. And then, so over here, I'll show you, basically, we can do this, and then we can put the tape over the top. And the reason that I really would suggest using like a packaging tape or some type of really strong tape is because remember that we are going to be sewing into this area. That little space that we left, I used too much tape there, but that's okay. That little space that we left, you know, that is going to be where you sew. Okay, and then again, then you can just go ahead and add it to your signatures. Now keep in mind when you are doing the envelopes, keep in mind which way you want your envelope to be, so that you can make sure to have the right orientation there. So there we have, so there is your single envelope, and it really just adds a little bit of decoration there when you have that washi tape, and you could use fabric or paper like I just previously showed you with the envelopes. But let me kind of demonstrate one last idea if you just want to include one single envelope. What we're going to do is to add one single envelope, I would actually add it into the center of the signature. This is the only way that I kind of know how to do this trick, but I'm sure you could take from this and turn it into, you know, you could use it at a different part in your signature using the same idea. Okay, so what we're going to do is before putting your envelope together, and if you have an already made envelope, this might not work obviously, but I have this cut out here, and basically before I attach it, I am going to have it be in the middle of this signature, and then what I do here, I love doing this little trick, is this is where I would be sewing the signature into my journal. So I would make sure that all of this stitching is happening within the height of the envelope. So once you are done sewing this into your signature, then what you would do is then you would close it up like so. So that way you are hiding your stitching, and then you have your single envelope here. So I hope you can kind of visualize that. I wasn't at the point where I could necessarily do that part right now, but I thought I would throw that in there to give you guys one last idea. So I hope that was helpful. I hope it gave you some idea of how I add single pages and single envelopes into my junk journals. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.